Hey guys, Nutty Buckeye here. I'm back. It's been a while. Just wanted to stop in and talk a bit about going to PowerCon at the start of the month. It was actually the very first weekend of August. It was the first time they've actually ever been here in Columbus. They usually kind of celebrate a Masters of the Universe, He-Man kind of a celebration. I guess originally when it started, it was Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, and what was the other show? Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But the following, where it was set, a lot of people just stopped kind of really supporting the Thundercats, the Turtles, and it really just turned really into more of a He-Man show or convention. But people still, I mean, when they came to Columbus, even though it was turned into a convention that covered toys of all atmospheres and themes, I still saw a good amount of both Turtles and Thundercats throughout the convention. But you definitely had an understanding that it was used to be a Masters of the Universe convention, because there was Masters of the Universe signs and collections, action figures throughout the entire convention for certain. But I had a good time throughout. I met some people I've really been wanting to catch up with and introduce myself to. One of them being Robo from the Fwoosh. He was an awesome guy, really cool to talk to. And then one thing I was actually very pleasantly surprised about that I got introduced to. I've always been on the outside looking in on this. It was the Mythic Legion's action figure line. I've always seen their line and never gotten into it, because I always thought, man, that's really expensive. I can't get into that. And when I was taking a break, walking around the con on the first day, a nice gentleman stopped by and he had this armload of action figures from Mythic Legion and a box of this huge box with him. And I asked him, I said, man, you must have dropped a buttload of cash today. And he said, no. He said, it was actually a pretty good deal. I was able to go right to the vendor. And I said, who is the vendor? And he said, Four Horsemen. I said, I'd never even heard of that company. And he said, yeah, they're the vendors who actually make Mythic Legion. I said, I never even heard of that brand. I said, I've heard of Mythic Legion. I just never really gotten into them because of the pricing. And he said, that's just the scalpers and the secondhand vendors. And I had no clue. So he and I got to talking a bit, and he was showing me everything he bought, and some of the stuff looked amazing. I mean, actually seeing it up close. And he said, had he bought them from like retail or secondhand vendors or like the scalpers, he would have probably paid $800 to $1,000, and all he spent was around $400. I think it was maybe even $3 something. Really nice guy from West Virginia, and he was telling me about all the different social groups that they have for Mythic Legions. And he convinced me to go by the stand and check things out. So I got in line, and it was later in the day, and the line was really small. And another guy got in line right behind me, and he and I got to talking, and he and I actually became Facebook friends over the weekend. And he told me a bunch of stuff what I would should really focus on and look into to try and get trades and help build up my collection. And actually what he recommended was great tips. So it was really, really helpful for that. I mean, the community seemed awesome, all the guys. And there were girls there in line too as well. But just a really, really cool community. And when I got up there, I was talking to the director of marketing for their company, Jeremy Gerard. And this gentleman, he broke down everything that went on with their toy line, how it worked, and how they're launching this new science fiction line as well called Cosmic Legions. And I actually got to see what's called their test line, which is basically finished plastic product before they get sent back to get color on them, and they decide if those look good enough. So even those Cosmic Legion, before they're being released, look amazing. But the Mythic Legions, he was literally popping pieces off and swapping them with other models and putting them together and it was like they were designed for that specific model. And that blew my mind. Like, he took a dwarf's head and put it on a skeleton's body, and he said, there, now you've got an undead dwarf. And or he said it was a skeleton Viking, something like that. And I was blown away, and I immediately was hooked. So I bought one of them. It was a really cool looking knight. It was the last one they had on the table there. And his name was Sir Owain. That just made me want to look into it even more. So I picked it up, and I just fell in love with the line, and I just wanted to check it out even more. So the second day I took my wife there, and she and I talked to her about it, and she was interested in it. And when she got in line, guess who we were in line right behind this day? We were behind him today, or that next day. It was behind the same guy we were in front of on Friday. And he's telling my wife all about it, and she's like, oh yeah, you got to get the stuff he's suggesting so you can trade stuff and build your collection up. And we got in line, and she approved me spending, so I spent about 7 times as much that second day. And she convinced me to not buy the stuff I wanted to buy, but to listen to the gentleman I met and just buy stuff to trade. So I did that, and I got a lot of cool stuff. And we came home, we played with it, and she was like, wow, this is really cool, really cool. But I explained to her, because I listened to her and the other gentleman, I didn't really get to buy the things I wanted to buy. So the next day, the third and last day of the con, we got there super early, made sure we were going to be in line right away. And she said, I feel bad you didn't get to get exactly what you want. I'm letting you go ahead and buy whatever you want. So the third day, I bought even more, probably another 25% more than I did the second day. It was ridiculous. So yeah, I literally didn't just dip my toe into Mythic Legions. I jumped in the deep end, and it was a little crazy, a little psychotic. So I had to take care of some hobby sales and things to take care of some of that. But I wanted to go through and show you what some of this stuff is like, and that's pretty much what this video will be over, going over what the Mythic Legions line is. And Sabine even wanted to say a little, yeah, that she thinks that they're cool too, because yeah, exactly. Because the line that I'm focusing on, that I decided to spend a lot of my attention towards, are the awesome goblins. And what do goblins typically stick with and ride? They ride wolves. And Sabine, my husky, looks very similar to a wolf. And Sabine's right up that alley. She thinks the goblins are pretty cool too. Yeah, the puppy Buckeye. And yeah, I'm dropping off cue and giving everybody their real names. I'm terrible about that today. But so I'm going to go through and show you what these guys look like and how the whole system works and why it was so intriguing to my wife and I. So I'll get to that. And again, just wanted to say welcome back. Good to be here. I hope you guys are enjoying the video and watching this, and we'll get to it. All right, thanks a lot. All right, guys. So as you see here, we have a basic Goblin Legion builder. And this is just one of the most standard figures you get for the collection of the toy line. Most every theme or line in the collection has a Legion or soldier builder, and it's a very basic one. But what happens is with that Legion builder, soldier builder, or they have a slight step up called the Deluxe Legion builder, what happens with those are you're able to pop them apart, swap them with other models, and make your own unique characters for your own design. So you could literally have endless hordes of your own creations. As for an example, so that's how they're packed. They're packed in this nice slip cover, kind of like blister pack, where you just fold back these little plastic tabs. This back sheath or cover slides out, and it opens up to show you the innards, which has the case similar to that, and you have to unwire the figure on the inside, and then you pull out the material. One of the things they have is a character brief, if it's a character. This one, the other one I had was Thump. He's a character for the goblins. You can actually pause if you want to read some of what he's got there, or you can look it up on the Source Horseman website for the Four Horsemen. He is one of the cousins, I think, or maybe even a nephew of the Goblin King, and he's sent on a special mission if you want to find out more about him. But here's some of the line of the goblins right there, and this guy's actually not official. He's just one I did a little bit of work on, but it's very basic, and I'll show you what I mean here shortly. But those are the basic goblins. You got the king in front, followed by some of his closest aides and assistants and warriors. But right here in front of me is the way Thump came, and he's all broken down, and he's not broken down completely. Like, you can actually break him down even more. Like this loin cloth piece, it pops loose. The legs themselves pop loose. The arms can be ripped off of the torso. But I just wanted to break it apart real quick so I could show you that you can pull the pieces apart, pop them on. Like, you could put these shoulder pauldrons on to make the figure look more bulky and muscular, or like he's wearing a bigger set of armor, things like that. And they come built primarily. You just have to add a few extra things. As you see with the basic goblin, that's how he came in the blister, and this is how he is finished up. This is a basic goblin when he's armored up with the pauldrons. He's got his axe on his belt. He's got a little human skull stuffed in the axe where it actually pops through the top of the axe, and he's got a spear with him. He's quite a handsome fellow. When I actually saw this goblin, I told my wife, "Oh man, this character's gorgeous. I'm in trouble." And that's exactly what happened. That's why I started to do all the goblins, because he's so pretty. But that's the way the characters work, is you can pop them apart, put them all together the way you want. And once you've got, like, what my plan is to do one of each of the characters the way they're supposed to be based on the art that Four Horsemen have. And then every time I get an extra one of them, I'm going to make a unique design, and I'll probably throw some paint on them to make them a little more unique or different. And because it's actually a bigger paint palette than I have, even than my normal miniatures. I paint at 28 millimeter. So I think this might be just a really unique hobby to take part in. And one of the gentlemen I did some work with and traded with, he actually, when he took care of me, he said to welcome me to the new group, he sent me a sword that he painted up. I thought that was kind of a cool thing to welcome me to the group by sending me a sword that he personally painted. Instead of it being just a basic metal sword, he painted it up to look like it had been tied together and it was bone. And then another cool thing was he threw in a goblin head that is totally unique. I haven't seen it on any of the characters, so I don't know if it's from a third-party vendor or what, but I am definitely going to throw this goblin head on one of my doubles that I've got, either the Thump or the Goblin Legion Builder, because those are both doubles, and now I've got a face only a goblin mother could love to go on a goblin warrior. And you get a lot of extra accessories, and I figure I'm just going to keep adding those all up and keeping them together. And the reason I was going to talk about this one later is some of the characters come with extra heads, extra faces, and I noticed that some of the models come in just like larger bodies. And I had a Legion Builder dwarf, and in this storyline, the dwarf army and the goblin army both join up with one of the main demon army guys, the Aethers, and they're both looking to enlarge their fortunes. And I was kind of surprised that the dwarf army did that. And when I saw something the goblins had planned in my mind, I've got a little story because I always come up with writing and stuff like that. That maybe the goblins could end up possibly being a slight good guy. And so I took the dwarf body and just took off the dwarf's head and put an extra goblin head that I had on the dwarf body, and it actually fits really well. And it looks like he just took out a dwarf and he grabbed his gear. And I mean, I'm going to dirty it up and make it look more like he killed the dwarf and had to do some work to get that armor rather than have it be so clean and pretty. But I mainly wanted to check to make sure the head would fit, and it did, and it works pretty well. And that's just the first any customization I did, just popping a head onto a different body. But I was happy that it worked at all. And that's just to show that you can just put a goblin head on a dwarf body and it works. And from what I understand, some of the heads aren't going to fit on certain bodies because their necks are different sizes. And they actually have an extender for some things to make them work. Like, as you can see, this Hellfire Goblin, his head is straight up sideways because it rests on a different type of neck, where his neck rests on the head and kind of leans forward. So his head only turns this way rather than all the way around and up and down like your typical goblin. But these guys are incredibly detailed. You can make up your Dungeons and Dragons or your role-playing character out of an action figure instead of a 28 millimeter model if you wanted to. And that way you could put them in front of you as a large standee. They have them in Human Knights. They have them in Beast Warriors. They have them in pretty much anything you could imagine. And I'm trying to get back to the Hellfire Goblin. Zoom in there. Oh, I don't want to zoom. I'll have to pull him up. But it has them in almost any race you can imagine. Like, they even have flying bird creatures. It's amazing what this line has. So don't think just because I'm showing goblins that that's all they've got. But it's amazing what they have. Here's your demon goblin right there, who's pretty cool looking. So don't worry if you feel your line or your theme isn't shown. But so yeah, again, you could pretty much find any faction you wanted to.
Catterbus does whatever a Catterbus does.
And you don't really find Catterbus, Caterpie, anything like that in Mythic Legions. That's a Lego set, which I will not be reviewing. But yes, the Mythic Legions line, if I had to review it as a seller or just as a true reviewer, I would say it is fantastic. It's a nice, thick, playable PVC. It's not going to break on you. It's not going to snap. It's got playability factors to it. The fact that you can collect the cards, giving you the info on the characters and what they are. The way the backs of the cards have different artwork and different images. It's pretty cool and unique. It's the community is such a very nice, well-knit community feel already. And I think it's a nice grouping of fellow action figure collectors. I think the nicest group I've ever met, honestly, since I was really into the G.I. Joe group, because I'm not going to say the groups I really didn't get along too well with, but yeah, this is just a fantastic group, and the feel for everything I've gathered from them, you couldn't find a better group of guys. But in my opinion, if you haven't checked it out yet, look into Mythic Legions. It's from the Four Horsemen Gaming Company, Their website is sourcehorseman.com, SOURCE, horseman, HORSEMEN.com. That's all one word. Or you can check out mythiclegions.com. That's all one word. And they also have storehorseman.com for their shop. And that's all one word. And I think right now they do have their pre-order up for their next wave of Mythic Legions, if you were interested in getting in on any of that. I know the Cosmic Legions their pre-order is done, but I think you might be able to get on that at like some stores that sell their materials, like maybe the Big Bad Toy Store or Empire Toys or a few others, but I'm not really certain on that one. Then the other group that's really, really cool, they're one of the big ones with the social media and helping people out, is the Cabal. They are really friendly. That's one of the groups I got invited to immediately, was the Mythic Legions Cabal. They are really great, outgoing guys. And again, I just can't recommend this collectible line and theme enough. It was so enjoyable to learn about, get into, and I'm hoping to grow my Goblin Horde and have Gob Hollow be protected by my Legion and have them take over. First, we're going to start with the Filthy Dwarven Kingdoms. Then we're going to move over and we're going to stab Aerther in the back. And then we're going to see about placing Noglin on the throne of the world. That's the goal. And kill that Catterbus. Stupid Catterbus. Well, I just want to say, if you've been watching the video and enjoyed watching the review on the Mythic Legion stuff, and you haven't subscribed yet or liked any of my stuff, I hope you do take the time to click the subscribe button or hit the like button. Just let me know if you like the video, and if you want to, please leave me a comment. Let me know if you are collecting the Mythic Legions line and who your favorite theme is or who your favorite character is. That'd be pretty cool to hear. I think mine really right now is King Noglin. He is one awesome looking dude. I think he could probably take on anybody that he wanted to. Looks like he'd be pretty dexterous, pretty quick. That's just my opinion. And then also, if you could, just give me a shout out, if you could, to any of your friends. Try and get the word out on the Nutty Buckeye YouTube channel. And be sure to check out the Fwoosh and his weekly Fwoosh review on Saturdays. Again, he was just an awesome guy. Talking to him on at PowerCon was fantastic. Cool guy. And then lastly, if you feel like you're just stuck in a bad place and you got nowhere else left to turn, don't give into the darkness. Always turn to the light. There's somebody out there thinking about you, caring about you. There is somebody out there that loves you. And just remember, if you need somebody to talk to, reach to somebody even online. If you can't reach out to somebody in person or over the phone,
Build a Catterbus.
You could build a Catterbus. Build some Lego. Lego helps de-stress. It'll help you unwind and focus. And even if you can't talk to somebody in person or on the phone, reach out to somebody online, maybe a chat room, or even just send a private message to somebody. And worst case scenario, if you need to, send me a message on YouTube. I mean, I won't be able to answer it right away, but if I get it and you need help, I'll respond, because I'm here for anybody. And I've been through those times, and believe me, I know what it's like. It's not good to be alone and facing the darkness alone. So just don't give in to it. All right. Thanks for watching the video, and thanks for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. God bless. The Nutty Buckeye out. I'm going to trim you walking through it. Don't move that. Don't move that. Don't. It does not need to be moved. I'm cutting this out. I'm cutting this.
Catterbus, Catterbus, does whatever a Catterbus does.
I don't know how to put things at the end of the video. Otherwise, I totally would. I'd put that at the end of the video. They're gonna be like, how the hell, where'd that come from?